Tonight, the current member for Giles announces his election funding promise and a multi-million-dollar deal to create a university training site in Port Lincoln.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. Eddie Hughes has announced a funding package promise for Port Augusta's Arid Lands Botanic Gardens in the lead up to the state election. The current member for Giles says the gardens are one of a kind and will receive support like other state gardens if he is elected.
Money doesn't grow on trees, but it can help trees grow. Eddie Hughes says $3 million in funding will be on its way to the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens if he is voted in.
It's time for the government to step in, and this $3 million is going to be a huge input to this fantastic facility.
He is once again vying for the seat of Giles this election, with one key difference. The redrawing of electoral lines sees the west of Port Augusta now included in Giles, saying his election promise is sure to sweeten the deal for West Side locals.
And the announcement is thoroughly taken on board by Council. I also put my hat off to Ted Lee and John Daly. They've been working with us as a council for probably 12 months on this subject.
When I say that this is a unique offering, it seriously is, and it deserves our support. The Port Augusta community have been shouldering that support now for many, many years.
Port Augusta's tourist hotspot currently receives no government support and instead is fully funded by council rates. The Ratepayers Association hoping the additional funding will see council rates drop.
The deficit last year was around about $650,000, so that our contribution will take care of that, in addition to having extra money.
It's what we've been seeking for some time, so that'll have a great effect on the rates in Port Augusta.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Police have been conducting a search for the body of missing person Robert Atkins. A major operation was underway in the mid-north between Orroroo and Peterborough today. Police say 29-year-old Atkins was marched into the scrubland before he was killed.
One of the people who we suspect may be directly responsible is from the mid-north originally. We believe the killer's familiar with this area.
The Major Crime Investigation Branch coordinated the search efforts. Federal funding has been awarded to the University of South Australia to create a new training site in Port Lincoln. Nursing and allied health students will get the opportunity to work with Matthew Flinders Homes in a range of different placements.
Port Lincoln's young and the old, both benefiting from new federal funding.
Government is putting $3.66 million into helping build a state-of-the-art training facility for aged care workers, allied health professionals to work in the aged care industry.
The federal member for Grey saying the initiative will help improve the workforce within the aged care sector.
This is to ramp up the workforce for aged care, and we know of course those that have got skills in aged care will be also drifting into the disability support sector, the same kind of basis of workers, so I think it's a real opportunity.
The funding not only providing a new training site but also going towards building new homes for students to stay in while on placement.
Hopefully eventually we'll have pharmacy students as well, social work students down the track. So it will grow over the time of the development of this project to increase the hours of placement.
The advanced students, it's not beginners, they're going to be quite advanced students, and having the direct exposure into aged care is going to be really great for the community and the region.
Occupational therapy students already looking at ways to make an impact.
Understanding what the needs of the community are, getting to know residents and their families to really ensure that the design that we come up with is something that the care recipients want to use.
Port Lincoln's mayor is hopeful it will give local students more opportunities.
In the future we can expand the capacity of UniSA on the peninsula here so that people that are now using distance learning techniques can actually have a face-to-face opportunity.
Project developments are already in motion. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A new study has found rental affordability has declined for those living with lower incomes in the Spencer Gulf. The cost of livability update also looking at how some rental prices exceed fortnightly welfare payments.
It's another financial pressure for some families in the Spencer Gulf. Rental affordability in regional South Australia becoming harder for those already on low incomes.
What is clear is that we continue to have an affordability crisis in South Australia, and of course our regions are also captured in that crisis.
The cost of living update released by SACOS today shows rental prices have risen significantly in the last 20 years. In the previous year alone, it increased by 7.2%, double the inflation rate.
Rents have gone up incredibly significantly over the last 20 years, and faster than both inflation and indeed most key income sources.
The report also finding renters on average have lower incomes than homeowners. South Australia's anti-poverty network saying the rise in rental prices is not in step with welfare increases.
We know that if you're living in a regional area and you're looking for paid work and you don't have a car, it could be particularly difficult trying to land a job.
Housing SA provides programs to provide rental assistance to low-income families. In a statement, a spokesperson says people can apply for assistance provided they pass income and asset eligibility criteria and their rent doesn't exceed $450 a week. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, bulk bill GP appointments on their way to Whyalla Hospital. And Port Augusta police warned residents to lock up their cars amid a spike in break-ins. Welcome back. A federal funded initiative is aiming to benefit more than 20,000 South Australians living in rural and remote areas. Locals will now be able to visit their local hospital to access bulk bill GP consultations and appointments with allied health professionals. This will apply to those living in Lameroo, Wallaroo and Ceduna. The initiative aims to fill the gaps in primary care provision in remote South Australia. Police are investigating a house fire which occurred in the early hours of Friday morning last week in Port Lincoln. Just after 1:30 a.m, emergency crews were called to a house fire on Cronin Avenue. The rear of the house was reportedly engulfed in flames, which spread to the roof. Fire crews extinguished the blaze. Thankfully, no one was inside the home at the time. Police believe the fire was deliberately lit. Police say reported thieves in Port Augusta are once again making light work of stealing possessions out of parked cars. The most recent spike prompting police to remind locals to take valuables with them and to lock their cars.
Smash and grabs on the rise. Port Augusta is experiencing a summer spike in car-related thefts, with police asking the community for assistance to catch these opportunistic thieves.
Police would like to remind the community to be vigilant in relation to vehicle security. Report any suspicious behaviour. It doesn't matter what time of the day or night it is.
With the frequency of car break-ins rising, police are urging residents to be cautious of what they leave in their cars.
Any valuables, take them out of the car, or if they have to remain in the car, put them in where it's not seen, or like in the boot of the car.
Also saying the most targeted items in car thefts include loose change, small portable devices, jewellery and bags of any nature.
Park it in a well-lit area. Don't have your keys, a spare set kept on the motor vehicle.
Police say break-ins mostly occur in public spaces, but with more people in Port Augusta, cars parked on private property are also being targeted.
If you have any property stolen or your motor vehicle's been interfered with, please call the police assistance line on 131 444.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. New facilities set to draw in more campers to Point Lowly. And construction in full swing to boost a popular Broken Hill landmark. I'll see you again shortly. Hello again. Travellers who set up camp at Point Lowly will soon have new facilities, including a coin-operated hot shower and upgraded toilets. It's hoped the new additions will be more welcoming to visitors to the Upper Spencer Gulf.
Bringing creature comforts for travellers who spend long hours on the road. Camping facilities at the Point Lowly campgrounds receiving an upgrade to out-of-date facilities.
Both of the facilities out there are pretty run down. There's no hot water, so we saw this as an opportunity to make both of those toilet blocks out at Point Lowly as good as new.
The works will bring upgraded toilets to the campgrounds and will also add a user-pays tap-to-go hot shower. Rainwater tanks will also be installed, with rust removal and painting also being undertaken at the site.
The toilets on the Cider Cove side will be painted a paperbark colour. That's a lightish colour, so we can have a mural painted over that in the future if that's what happens.
Travellers living with a disability will also be catered for with upgraded accessible facilities. The Whyalla City Council says more camping sites across the northern Spencer Gulf will receive upgraded toilets and showers soon.
We're looking at putting some hot showers out at Fitzgerald Bay as well. There's a project that we are just about to go out to request for quotes for.
The current facilities at Point Lowly will be out of use for approximately 3 weeks. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Upgrades to Broken Hill's line of load reserve have gotten underway, with North Construction and Building managing the project. The upgrades are expected to be finished by June, aiming to boost tourism at one of the Silver City's iconic landmarks.
Construction crews have moved in, ready to upgrade the site of Broken Hill's best view. North Construction and Building fencing off the area and getting to work. The $5.6 million redevelopment set to boost tourism and jobs. The Mayor saying the community will appreciate the work going into the site.
Tourism's love it, and I'm sure the community will use it more often with the increase in size.
It's an exciting time for the Silver City, with Qantas coming into town and the redevelopment set to be finished by June, in time for the tourist season.
They're opening probably at the perfect time to get that start, that run-on of tourism over that period.
The redevelopment includes redesigning, expanding and refurbishing the Broken Earth complex to install a full-scale commercial kitchen and improved restaurant facilities, as well as landscaping the reserve to improve visual appeal and construction of a reticulated water system, leaving the business who will take over the Broken Earth complex amenities to thrive.
Upgrade to the kitchen with a full industrial kitchen. Extra space will be a real positive for that line of load.
Currently, while the construction crews have commenced work, the Miners' Memorial is still accessible for locals and tourists to pay respects and take in the view. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Residents in Whyalla have a new playground for local children to enjoy. JC Park on Taylor Street has reopened to the public, the only park in the city with a unique bench carousel. Further works are still to be completed, including landscaping, tree planting and a sheltered picnic setting. The park's old equipment was donated to Rotary to be sent overseas. Stay with us after the break. We'll have all the highlights and scores from weekend sport. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather details. I'll see you again soon. Welcome back. Things are starting to heat up in sport around the region as a number of teams look to finish off the regular season strongly before finals kick off. For more details, Joshua Mercer has this week's sports wrap.
We are getting to the business end of the summer sports season, with teams wanting to continue their winning form heading into the finals. Starting off with basketball, and in Port Augusta men's A grade, the Titans down the Eagles by 5 points. It is the second time in a week that the Eagles have lost a close one. Despite the loss, Brady Corbett was in fine form, top scoring for the Eagles. In the other match, the Wildcats defeated the Cobras by 19 points. Max Macchio starring once again with 24 points, while Edwin Rivandi scored 10 points for the Cobras. The Cobras are still searching for that elusive win after another disappointing loss. Moving on to Whyalla softball now, and on Friday night, the Indians and Eagles couldn't be split. Shelley Cousins finishing with 3 catches, while Maddie Wellgraven finished with 2. On Sunday, the Indians ran out winners against the Cats 16 runs to 8. Taylor Blue and Tanya Everson finished the game with 2 safe hits. Amy Van Roosmalen finished with 2 home runs, and Cassie White did well in her first full game as pitcher. In the second match of the doubleheader, the Eagles won a close game against the Roadrunners 5-4. The Roadrunners' Sarah Hake celebrated her 100th game with 2 catches, while for the Eagles, Carmen Buzzicott finished the game with 3 catches. Sticking with softball, and in Port Lincoln, the Squaws downed the Roadrunners 17-2. Ella Blewett and Cheyenne McDonald starring with the bat for the Squaws. Jenny Lee Tiwano was the best in the field. For the Roadrunners, Charmaine Cross and Kiara Newman shone bright, and what was a tough day for the side. If you'd like your sport to be featured on our bulletin, all you have to do is contact us through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. With some sunny conditions for many spots across the region, here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. That's right. It was sunny right across the region today, and those conditions are set to continue. It's also shaping up to be a mainly fine weekend. I'll have a sneak peek at Saturday's forecast in just a moment. Let's first take a closer look at today's conditions. From 3 p.m, Whyalla was 26, Port Lincoln was 21, and Kadina was 24. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta, Broken Hill and Port Pirie were 30 degrees. Adelaide was 23, Woodner topped 27, Cleve reached 24, Clare was 25, Cooper Pedy topped 29 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low clouds scattering across southern South Australia in cool southerly winds in the wake of a front is bringing a few showers, mostly clear skies elsewhere under high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. East to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, reaching up to 25 knots in the late afternoon to evening. Seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swells below 1 metre. A short time ago, there were no warnings current for South Australia. Sunny across the region again tomorrow. Port Lincoln will reach 26. It will get to 30 degrees in Cleve, and Woodner is set to get to 35. Whyalla will get to 31. Port Augusta will also top 35 and will reach 32 degrees in Kadina. Port Pirie will get to a high of 34, and both Clare and Broken Hill will be mostly sunny and are set to reach 33 degrees there. Taking a look further through the week now, those sunny conditions continuing into Thursday. It will be sunny and reach 33 degrees in Port Augusta, Port Pirie, Woodner and Broken Hill. Cooper Pedy with a high of 39, Whyalla will get to 30, Kadina 31, Adelaide mostly sunny, also 31, Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy and have a max of 24. Let's take a look at the forecast for Friday now, and it'll be mostly sunny in Port Pirie and Woodner, both set to reach 32, while it'll be sunny and get to 29. Partly cloudy in Broken Hill where it'll reach 33. Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy and get to 24 degrees. Cooper Pedy will be mostly sunny and 39. Kadina and Adelaide are both set to reach 30 degrees. Let's take our first look at this weekend's weather now. Mostly sunny in Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Woodner on Saturday, all to reach 33. Sunny in Whyalla and 30. Mostly sunny in Port Lincoln with a top of 25. It'll be sunny in Kadina with 31, also 31 for Adelaide. So let's hope that sunny weather continues through to Sunday, Ruby. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Wonderful, thanks for that, Alex. And that's all local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Myself and the team will return tomorrow with more local news. Good night.